And I'm going to see if my main man is here. I'm so excited. Excited to join me. Ladies, get ready. Fellas, get ready. Here he comes. The R&B hit sensation. Turkey!
Hello. What's poppin'?
Happy Friday, sexy.
Oh, the Friday is happy. Thank you, gorgeous. You know. So you late talking to me because you watching some Red Table Talk. You in the tea. You somewhere get tea.
I was all like that. I was like, ooh, hello, ooh, I got an interview.
I was watching a couple pieces of it too, and hey, listen, hey.
It's what it is. It's about, like I was just telling people, I love it because it's revealing. It's about forgiveness. It's about honesty. And it's not, when you're in relationships, everybody has this thing of, it's got to be certain rules and stuff in society. And that's between them two. So for her to come and explain it, you know.
Well, let's keep it. And so let's, on the serious side of it, right? Relationships are based on two people communicating. And whatever their communication is, whatever their understanding is within their communication, that's their business.
Yeah.
That ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? They just happen to be some of the most transparent human beings I've ever seen. Now, let me jump back into the comedian. Now, I'm trying to figure out what all is healing. Who needs healing? Like, I'm just trying to put myself in August's shoes, right? Okay? Right? Because I want to know what he needs healing from. Because Jada don't fly commercial. She don't. She fly private. Slot have been flying private with her. Okay, all right. She don't stay in no regular suite. She stay in the presidential. We would have been in the presidential. Okay? Now listen, I can't speak on her sexually because that is another man's wife, but I can say that probably being out on a date or spending time with Jada Pinkett would have probably been a blessing. I don't see where I would have needed healing from my experience with the amazing, beautiful Jada Pinkett.
I think Jada put it on him though. That's what it sounds like. Jada put it on him. Because Jada put it on him. So
I don't know what he said he needs healing. I gotta talk this out. I gotta tell somebody. If I don't tell someone.
And Will just looking at her like,
and Will,
so what you do, Jada?
So she said it was an entanglement. This ain't we not crocheting. Ain't no goddamn crochet, no blanket project. What did you do?
He kept pressing her too. So what happened, Jada?
So what you do though? And the Philly came out of him. He said, "Look, I'm trying to be Will Smith, but I'm about to go Philly on you, my nigga. What you do though?"
But Will didn't even have no powder. Me and Will looking the same. What you do, Jada? So what happened? It's like, oh Lord, that's the best, you know.
Let's listen. It's amazing that with everything that's really happening right now, that's like detrimental to our lives, we are concerned about the Smiths. We have concern. Like nigga, COVID is at the door like this. Can we come in? Hold on. I'm watching the Red Table Talk.
I dropped everything. I saw Red Table Talk. I'm gonna be up.
Listen, it is police jumping on people right outside the gate. Oh, hold on. The Red Table Talk is on.
You know why? Because I think it's a deterrent. It gives you a piece of somewhat of real life, a little bit of drama, salaciousness, sex. And I think for the past 2-3 months, we've just been so evolved with, civil unrest and this damn disease that it was like, okay, just give us a little bit of normalcy.
Give us some. Yeah. And it's like it's almost like you like they like us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they just like us.
Because we'll still mad. I don't care what nobody say.
I can't wait to go to my wife and see, you need to be more like, I got examples. They done made it through everything. You gonna get at me about some DMs? Jada was entangled.
You know what, Tay? I cannot. Speaking of, how have you been doing during this quarantine?
I have been amazing, man. I have been able to be productive, as well as, be an advocate for change and do all, and fight in that space as well. And I've been blessed to have a good space. I got my gym here, I got my studio here, I got my kids here, I got my wife here. Everything's here, you know what I mean? So I was blessed that when COVID came, I was kind of COVID proof because I like being at home. You know what I mean? Being on the road all the time. Like, I don't fly private all the time. I fly commercial. And sometimes when you go into Chattanooga, you got to catch 2 planes there and 2 planes to get back. So,
exactly.
It hurt. So, it's going good, though. It's really, really going good.
Yeah. So how has it been as far as the business, though? I know that's probably affected you somewhat because you travel like I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely affected the live performance bag. I mean, the live performance bag is real. And, some of the bags that the front end bags that I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people was calling like, man, you think we can get those back? And I was like, I don't think so, because I need it too. You know what I'm saying? So let's postpone this to 2021 or 2022. I'm gonna still do the gig, but this front end, this mine's. So
yeah, because that's the purpose of it's called a deposit for a reason.
Deposit, man. Deposit.
Like, they can't get it back.
You gotta come get me. Come get me. But the beauty of it is that, like, I own myself, so musically, when I want to drop projects, I can drop them. You know what I'm saying? I produce and write for myself, and I sing it. So it's just a matter of me making the content and delivering it. And so a lot of artists who are dependent on producers or depending on writers or dependent on the label, for that matter, it's a tough time. You know what I mean? But like I said, I was blessed and favored, and this type of situation doesn't hurt me too bad.
Right. Well, let's talk about your last project, which was it was called Worth the Wait. Now, the previous EP was While You Wait, and it's getting great feedback. So, tell me your whole thought process and the naming of those and what was the content.
Well, going into While You Wait, the shutdown had just started. You know what I mean? And so, my manager, who always has idea overload, he'll call me at like 8:30 in the morning with like 15 new ideas. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro.
That's manager.
I'm like, bro, I'm still asleep, bro. Like, my wife is right. She don't like nuts. She don't like it. It's too early. You know what I mean? And so, he was like, do a mixtape. I was like, I'm gonna call you back. And I hung up on. And so I go to my piano and I'm sitting there playing and I'm just coming up with vibes. And I'm like, each one of these could be a vibe. It could be a thing. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do one. And it was like I just want to put something cool and intimate together that speaks to the time, because everybody's kind of packed into one space right now. It's your mother, your father, if you live with your grandparents like I did, if you live with your great-grandparents like I did, y'all all in the same room looking at each other like this. I wish somebody would leave. I just wish somebody had something to do, And I was like, there has to be a soundtrack for that. There has to be something that brings everybody together and something that everybody can listen to, because, a lot of my albums, they're filled with adult content.
Yes, I like that.
And they speak to adult situations.
Yes.
And so sometimes you got to tell certain people to leave the room. You know what I'm saying? If grandma too religious, if grandma too religious, she got to leave. You know what I'm saying? She don't want to damage her salvation. And the kids, they don't need to be knowing about this no damn way. You know what I'm saying? So they got to leave. And I was like, well, I got to put something together where everybody, can listen to it and enjoy it and get the message from it. And that's really how I came up, with all the concepts. And so putting it together, and it did the While You Wait putting the title together. Like, we're waiting for things to get back to whatever normal's going to be. Right. You know what I'm saying? We're waiting to get our stimulus checks. We're waiting to, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're waiting. And so while we're waiting, here's some music. And then I put it out. It was, I mean, I didn't expect a whole lot from it. I just expected a few of my fans that, you know, like me a little bit, to grab it and listen to it and be cool. And it just started getting great reviews and people commenting and people playing it. And it was like, it was doing so well that I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, look at here. If I get 5,000 likes, I'll do 4 more songs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really just playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like just throwing some bait out there. I'm not going to get no 5,000 yeses. I know that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never got no 5,000 yeses. And I got 7,000 yeses. Now I'm sitting there like,
see?
I got to do 4 more songs. Now I got to go to work. So dig back in and do 4 more songs. And I was like, you know, when you finally get these 4 more songs, it'll be worth the wait. And so that was the concept of the whole package, man. And I'm hoping that people are just enjoying the honesty, the sincerity, and even the simplicity of these projects.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite songs on your EPs? The recent ones.
On Worth the Wait, I would say Take Me Away. It's one of my favorites. With featuring Ashley J, because she's so dope.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's really, she's amazing. And then Value, I did a song called Value. Telling my brothers to understand what they're worth. Oh yeah, get into it.
This is Take Me Away.
Get into it.
Ashley J.
Turn it up.
It's the iPhone.
I think about the time. I think about what we used to be.
Your voice is so pure.
I go there in my mind. The only place I can be free. You let me find nobody trained.
Woo! That's ladies and gentlemen, it's called Take Me Away on his EP Worth the Wait.
Yeah.
With Tank. That's what I'm talking about. Are you playing all the instruments and everything?
That's me, everything.
Really?
Everything. Produce, write, sing, everything.
So you ain't gotta pay nobody.
Pandemic proof. No overhead.
Well, what's going on with R&B though, Tank? We always talk about this. You come on my radio show, Cafe Mocha, a lot, and we always talk about the state of R&B. And are you encouraged? Are you, disappointed in it? What is your feelings about it right now?
I'm absolutely encouraged. I mean, the beauty of streaming music is just amazing. You no longer have to be programmed. You now can be in a mood and dial up that mood and be serviced. You don't have to depend on the radio to play the same 12 songs. You know what I mean? And never get to catering to what you're feeling at the moment. And so that's been a big win for especially the newcomers in R&B, for Jacquees and for SZA, and for the rest of them, for her, and this R&B streams well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we're having amazing moments. Urban AC has always been good to us in terms of our R&B and taking care of us and keeping us alive in at least in a radio space. Right. Mainstream radio is where we suffer. You know what I mean? And so it still bothers me that we suffer there, because I feel like there's such an imbalance in the message that they send in terms of Black music, that I would think that somebody would want to resolve that. You know what I mean? I'm all for guys celebrating what hood they from. And I enjoy some of the songs where they talk about, the money that they've made from their pharmaceutical sales. You know what I mean? I enjoy some of those songs. You know what I'm saying? Right. I enjoy some of the songs where they speak of, you know what I mean, having to do battle with firearms against rival gangsters. I enjoy that.
Okay.
From our Black music.
Right.
But what's missing is Black love on mainstream radio. How come we can't find a balance? If you have 18 drug dealing, shooting up all my whole songs, why can't we get...
Throw a little love in there.
Why can't we get 10 Black artists singing about love on mainstream radio, about relationships, about keeping it together, about taking care of our communities, not poisoning our communities, and so that's my only concern. Like, whatever music you enjoy, that's fine. But in terms of the people who are programming, because that programming is real. It's not just your station you're programming. It's the minds of the people that are listening as well.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So why can't we, and so that's still the fight. That's still the struggle. But all in all, R&B artists are doing well. R&B producers and writers are doing well. And I'm excited about the future. And that's why I keep going. You know what I mean? I go on iTunes every Friday and go to the R&B section, and I look to see who's dropped something, and I just buy stuff. I don't even know some of the artists. You know what I mean? But if I want to speak on continuing to grow the R&B culture and being a part of it, I got to support it.
That's right.
I got to support it. So that's what I do.
Well, I appreciate you because you give us content. And like I said, our radio show, Cafe Mocha Radio, we only play urban AC. And it really is a wonderful genre of music that I think, people need to hear. I just wonder, what can we do? Because it's like they want to say, okay, it's just all hip hop and that's it. Why can't, like you said, does it hurt to say hip hop here, then R&B here, then mix it? It's Black music. So why are programmers so
I think
they don't want to mix it?
Listen, I think that there's a bigger issue systemically. You know what I mean? That we could talk all day about, because Black love is not just missing on radio. It's missing on TV. It's missing in the movie theaters. It's missing. So it's almost like we can't show them that. We can't show them that idea of them is great. We have to show them that the height of who they are is this, so that they'll continue to replicate that process. Because I remember back in the day, like, you say certain words you couldn't get on the radio.
That's true.
You conveyed a certain message you couldn't get on. But you shot who next door? Oh no, we're not playing that. We're not playing that. You ain't even shoot nobody down the street next door. Oh no, we're not playing that. What they play? You sell 4 keys of coke in real life? No, you can't even come up here. You can't even come to our radio station. There used to be a thing, and now there is no moral compass in terms of anything. It's all about, is it getting likes? Is it generating money?
Yeah.
Is it being consumed? Like, think about it. If you look at any platform, whether it be IG, whether it be TikTok, whether it be anything, the things that get the most views, most engagement, are the most foolish things you've ever seen in your life. And then you have people who, because they desire engagement at whatever cost, will replicate that process. I saw a woman drowning her baby with throwing the water on the baby.
Oh,
that's a cool. The baby's crying. The baby is. If the baby could talk, the baby is saying, "This is bullshit." That's what the baby's saying. and you was throwing water on so that you can get likes and engagement.
Right.
And that's where we are.
Right.
That's where we are. And so because the elements connected to love take more time to develop and more time to build and more time to engage, because it's not instant, it suffers in these spaces.
You said something important right there. You said the element of love takes time to develop, takes time to come together, takes time to grow. It isn't instant. I think that's the most profound thing. If somebody type that in for me, that is prolific.
It takes it when we're in such an instant world, and love suffers in an instant place. It suffers. Like this ain't instant oatmeal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like love is steel cut.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Steel cut oatmeal. Like you got to really boil that water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to throw some salt in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to really eyeball how much water you put in there versus how many of them oats you put in there. You know what I'm saying? You stir that thing. You know what I'm saying? Really let it simmer. Really go get the brown sugar.
Right.
If you got to borrow some. You guys got some brown sugar? I'm out. Pandemic whole thing, I didn't buy any. I'm out. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It takes time.
Takes time.
And in an instant world, love suffers because it takes time.
And I think it's suffering right now. Where are you from originally, Tank?
Originally born in Milwaukee, raised in Maryland, but I'm a military brat, so I've been all over from Mississippi to Texas but settled in Milwaukee, was raised there, and then moved to Maryland, like my 6th grade year. Was raised there and then moved to LA 20 years ago.
And when did you get into music? When did you know you could sing? When?
I thought I could sing in 5th grade. I mean, I could play the piano and drums and all that stuff, and I thought I could sing. And so one time I got this solo at the State Baptist Convention, and I had been practicing all week with the choir, with the big state choir. And my grandmother was the dean of the whole thing. My grandma was top dog in Milwaukee, right?
Okay.
And so I had been practicing all week, and it came the day for the choir to sing the song, "Jesus, You're the Center of My Joy." And I was supposed to be singing one of the lead parts. And I'm a kid, and so at the last minute, the choir director was like, "Listen, we're gonna have these guys sing it. You know what I'm saying? You did good, but we're gonna have these guys sing it." And I'm like, I can't do that, right? So I go tell my grandmother, who's the dean. Girl, they took the lead from a real one. I don't even know how to do this, you know what I'm saying? So my grandmother came in, defending her grandson. He gonna sing that lead. You're not gonna have him rehearsing all week. You're not gonna sing the lead. He's singing the lead. They was like, all right. So I get up there and I start singing my lead. And I didn't notice at the time, but anytime everybody's just looking at you, not saying nothing, and one person screams, "Take your time, Darrell," you're not doing that well. I didn't know that. So
what note was you hitting?
I don't know. I was trying to run. I was trying to do all sorts of wild shit. I don't know. So only thing I did notice is by the end of the song, the other two guys who were singing lead had boxed me out from the microphone. So I was kind of singing my ad-libs to their shoulders, trying to, and so at the end of the night, we walking back to the car, and my Auntie Betty, who was the choir director at our church, I said, "Auntie Betty, how'd I do?" She said, "You was off, baby. You was real off." All right. Okay. So
how old were you then? How old were you again?
I was in 5th grade. I was in 5th grade going to 6th. So at that point, I was like, okay, I got to figure something out because I didn't do well, and I didn't do that good. So it wasn't until like 8th grade where they was like, "You can really sing," So I was like, "I can." And then 9th grade, I'm sorry, I got stories, but in 9th grade, they need somebody to sing at the first school assembly.
Uh-oh.
And it's all the kids, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm in choir, and they're like, "You want to sing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll sing." If somebody sing with me, and these other two guys, they were in the group. They was like, "I'll sing. I'll sing. We'll sing with them." So I had this song that I wrote, gospel.
Oh, dang.
I'm back.
Okay.
Songs we wrote because we was church kids or what have you, and so like we'll sing. So they call us up to sing. Other guys sing their lead part or whatever. It's cool, and then I start singing. I'm playing and singing, and back then, this is '90. You know what I'm saying? And so at that time, falsetto was it. I didn't know this. I didn't know I'm a church kid. You know what I'm saying? So I go, nah, and every girl in that high school auditorium started screaming and squirming. And I said, oh, what is this? What is this I have found? I had scored touchdowns. I had dunked the basket. Nothing had made me feel this way when they screamed. And when they screamed, I said, I got it. I don't know if it's just the Holy Ghost. Some of it's me too. Some of it is the Holy Ghost, and some of it is me. And that's when I knew
I had to plug my phone up.
No, you good. That's when I knew I had something. That's when I knew.
You know what? I'm so glad. Look, y'all, you tell these stories so well. And I heard that you have something called Tank Tales. Tell us about that.
I haven't done one in a long time. I got to do one now. But, I have so many stories from church to the streets to tour to everything. And so, I've always been, a storyteller. That's my thing. Like, that's kind of how my comedy is based around me telling stories. Are you okay over there? Somebody jumping on you?
I told you I was up there. I wasn't prepared because I was looking at Red Table Talk.
Your phone is looking like it is abusive at your house. That's how your phone is moving. Like, somebody go check on Loni. Somebody go check on Loni. Her phone.
I wasn't ready. This is Red Table Talk.
The way her phone is moving.
No.
I can't see who's doing it, but somebody's doing it. Check on Loni.
Oh my God. And I didn't want to
Oh God.
Oh my God. No. For real. No. Okay, wait. Let me see if I can get it.
Okay, plug it up, man, because we send some people over to check on you, man. Shit. I didn't check on Loni.
So this is what happened when you do your own production tape. You ain't ready. I ain't got no PA. I ain't got nobody to do my hair. I'm looking like the damn Aunt Jemima lady on the damn bottle. I ain't got nobody to do the makeup. The light is wrong. This pandemic is gonna ruin me. Okay. All right, I'm back on track. I gotta get my Barbara Walters on. I'm losing power in my phone. This is a mess.
You can't listen.
This is my assistant. He in Detroit.
Listen,
he can't get on no plane.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it. You're doing your own production. You came on screen and said, all right, you want your kicking? What you want? What you doing?
Okay. I'm back on track now.
You back?
Right. Yeah, I'm back. Right. I got power. I got somewhat of a light.
There it is. Yeah. You backlit too. I can tell you doing your own production. You backlit. You got lights in the back.
Stop calling me, Bo. Look at the damn interview. Okay.
Tank Tales is just me.
I want to talk. You do have a podcast though, correct?
Yes, R&B Money Podcast.
R&B Money Live Podcast. Tell me about that.
We really wanted to make sure that people who knew R&B, people who were actively working in R&B, people who were successful in R&B were leading the R&B conversation. And so that became us. And so me and my brother, Jay Valentine, we said, let's do it. Let's get all our friends. Let's get Jamie Foxx. Let's get Chris Brown. Let's get Keith Sweat. Let's get everybody, Jacquees, and let's talk real R&B. Let's talk the state of it. Let's talk the journeys in R&B, and let's really give it a platform for people in R&B to tell their stories, man, and play their music. You know what I'm saying? Known and unknown. Let's do all of it. And we're just getting started, but we're getting ready to. Had a few conversations about putting it on, you know what I'm saying, getting the platform, you know what I'm saying, a steroid injection and blowing that thing up. So, you know what I'm saying, pray for your brothers, you know what I'm saying.
Who would you battle with? Because the battles are the big things. Who would you want to battle? Or I don't like to call it battle. I would say celebrate with. Who would you like to celebrate with?
I'm fans of so many guys, man. I mean, I think if you're talking about guys that could, from my generation, you know what I'm saying, that have kind of stood the test of time. I don't know anybody that's necessarily from my generation that's putting music out right now, going crazy on radio and all of these things like I'm still doing. But I mean, you talk about a guy like Joe who's got massive records, massive album sales. You talk about Tyrese, who sold massive records. Even Genuine, Genuine probably kicked my ass, but he sold massive records. I mean, once he played Pony, what the hell am I gonna play?
It's like you just do like I do, just make your phone mess up.
Shake my phone.
Phone mess up.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening right now. Check on Loni. Check on Loni. I don't.
You said you all right?
You all right? But all of those guys from my generation, you know what I'm saying, that are still in the streets, still touring. You know what I mean? Only thing with me is that I write and produce, so I have an unfair advantage where I have big records with other artists as well that I didn't necessarily have to sing, so I can cheat. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and I've been featured on a bunch of stuff, you know what I'm saying, that I can cheat on too.
Right.
So
what would you name maybe 5 of your songs you would use against somebody?
I mean, we got Maybe I Deserve, which is
yes,
that's foundational.
Yes.
We got Slowly. Ain't too many R&B artists, period, got a song in 3, 4, 6, 8 time signature. That's Holy Ghost. That's spiritual. That's hallelujah music.
Yeah.
And then there's Please Don't Go. I mean, I can jump to that. You know what I'm saying? Where I mean, come on. That whole I could play the Sex, Love, and Pain interlude.
Yeah, you sure could.
If I felt like it, you know what I'm saying? If I really just wanted to do that. If I just wanted to just do that. And then, you said 5. I got to go strong. I would just close out with When We.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what a whole bunch of people want to do with just those 5. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a whole bunch of people that even won't smoke with that 5.
See?
You know what I'm saying?
We need to make it happen. I think you and Joe. If I had to pick, I would say you and Joe.
I love Joe.
I think it would be a good vibe.
Yeah, and Joe's one of those guys that, when I was sitting at home watching BET, hoping I could be somebody one day, like he was one of those guys I was watching. You know what I'm saying? And I've been able to share stages with him and let him know in person, like, bro, thank you. You know what I'm saying? For inspiring me and giving me some blueprint on how to do my own thing, man. So really, really dope.
Yeah. So what's next for you, Tank?
I love music, and I want to tell everybody I love music. It's my first love. It's what I bleed. And I think my time as an artist, you know what I mean, is I only have a little bit more time left in that space as an artist. As an executive, I got a lot of time to go in that in terms of building artists, building producers, building writers. That's my next thing, because now I have to, now I got to give back. You know what I mean? This 20 plus year journey, with all the information and all the knowledge and all the wisdom that I've accrued, now it's time to give that back. I can't hoard that or hold that to myself. So, from a musical space, that's more so where I'm moving into. But my passion now, like what I'm fighting for now, is that comedy stage is a love of mine that is just growing like wildfire, and acting. Those two things right there are consuming everything. You know what I mean?
You are so good at it, Tank. You are so good. For everybody, if you don't remember, we did a special. It was commissioned by BET for the Soul Train Awards. This is a couple of years ago, and it was a lip sync battle. And you were Rick James, and you were perfect. I mean, perfect. I was Bobby Brown, and it was. But that is
you rocked though.
Calling.
You
rocked it. You had the wig.
Thank you.
You had the heels, the platform heels. It just I really believe acting is really in your calling. And I disagree with you saying that as an artist, you see a window closing, because I just, I saw, who was that? What is his name? He's older black guy and his voice was just pristine. And he did a Christmas special. I know this sounded crazy. Y'all forgive me. Because I wear a silly grin. I can't sing. What? Oh, what is his name? Alex. Type his name. He's an old R&B crooner.
Okay.
At the time of Frank Sinatra and them. What is his name? Let me look it up. But anyway, the whole point is, I don't think with your type of music and with your voice and how you are, it's never a window out of that. And I just don't agree with that. And I think we need to be more, we just have to give more exposure to the R&B artists and to people like you with the love songs and talking about love. I just think that's just, Johnny Mathis, thank you.
Johnny Mathis, nice. Well, here's the thing, right? Is that what you have to notice about music, and the roles in music business. If I keep the light on me, mm-hmm. there's no way that I can be the executive at 100% capacity that an artist signed to me deserves. Mm-hmm. There's no way I can do it. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about all the artists who've been hot, if you think about all the artists, R&B artists who've had labels, and think about who was able to break an artist. Mm-hmm. If we talk Babyface had to close that door for a second and focus on his label and those artists in order to get that off. If we go hip hop, if we talk about Dr. Dre, he had to close just a little bit so he could shift that light and make sure that the focus was on, you know what I'm saying? So it's never over. I'll say that. I'll agree with you on that. It's never over.
I don't want it to be over.
Yeah, it's never over.
Tank.
But I gotta give some undivided attention to the next generation.
Right. That's true.
In that space.
And that's important. And I think that's important to do that. Do you have any artists right now that you're looking at or you're working with?
Yeah, we have an artist named Feather. She signed, we did a joint venture with her at Motown. Uh-huh. And she's just, her Instagram is @Fethy. And she sings, she dances, she writes, she produces. She's from Chicago.
Yeah.
She is a monster, just gorgeous. And she's our priority.
Oh,
she's our priority right now.
So we're gonna look out for Feather. Do you know when she may have a project out?
Well, we'll, like everybody else trying to put artists out, we're working through COVID. But the beauty is, she's able to write it and produce it herself. Her and her producer, they get it done every day. So we have the content. We're in process of getting the visuals done. Radio is just getting back to a place to where, they're ready to do new business. And so we're putting a plan together now. So you'll be seeing her in the next couple months.
Oh, we are, and I want to make sure that I talk to her too and bring her on because we just love supporting our people. We love supporting R&B music, and we love supporting you, Tank. You know,
Thank you, Mama.
we just
Oh,
thank
you know
you
what?
for this time.
And my wife wanted to make sure you were using her mittens, her exfoliating, her gifts, and all her. Okay. Right.
And for everybody, whenever Tank comes on, Zena, his beautiful wife, always gives us gifts. And the latest were some mittens to keep my skin looking like hers on her, like on her Instagram.
It's just filters. She be doing filters and stuff.
Don't do that. don't. I love you so much, Tank.
Thank you, Mom. I love you too. I appreciate you.
Make sure y'all follow Tank, and his EPs are out. If you go on Apple or any of the streaming services, stream him today. Listen to some Tank today, and I can't wait to talk to you again and see you on the show when all of this is over, my brother.
Anytime, Mama.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.